Hello, everyone. Hi, I am Christina Taylor, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from North Canton, Ohio. And today I am sharing with you the Thoughtful Journey product base class with the bundle of products and then the projects that we're going to make. So for all those that all of you that signed up for this class, you should recognize the supplies that you have in front of you. And then these are the projects that we're going to be creating. So let me kind of just share with you a little bit about things, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So these are 4 projects that we're going to do. We'll take a closer look at those in just a minute. Um, and then So in your product bundle, this was a pre-order class, and so the class was $85, and you got half a pack of the specialty um, paper. Which let me show you. Let's go back here. So this is the suite of products in the annual catalog. And it's on page 46 and 47. So it's a Thoughtful Journey Suite collection. So you've got a half a pack of the Thoughtful Journey specialty, Thoughtful Designs specialty paper, which is this metallic paper here with this kind of ombre and colors. And so you've got the excuse me, 5 sheets of that at 6 by 12. So I've just cut the pack in half. And then you have half a pack of the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper, which I've kind of got a lot of the patterns out here on my desk area. So it gives you like kind of an idea of what it looks like. Of course, you have a half a pack in front of you. So you'll have 2 sheets of all the different designs. And I think so it's 24 sheets total. There's 12 different designs. You'll have 2 of each sheet. And for some of the projects here, you'll be cutting your supplies to make the projects that we are making in the class. And I'll take you through that process. If something is needing like what I want to say, further things done to it, that'll be done with in your class packet. But you'll have all the stamps and the dies so you can stamp as you wish, change things up, that type of thing. So but this designer series paper, you'll get a half a pack. This one, you'll get a half a pack. And then you're also getting the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set, which has some great greetings in it and sentiments, and then some beautiful imagery. And then the die set that goes along with it. So we are using actually the majority of the dies. I think the only ones we don't use are these 2 leaf stamps here and this one here. I believe we use everything else. Actually, I didn't die cut this one out. So we use the majority of the dies in the class, and the majority of the stamps. I think the only stamps I didn't use is the Missing You and I Appreciate You, which you might find depending on the card that you're going to use for whatever occasion. You might find that you want to stamp one of those. I just particularly liked or found the need that I needed to use these for here. So either way, you've got a great bundle of products and some beautiful specialty paper and regular designer series paper that you'll be able to do tons more of these projects with. So let me just put those aside. Okay. So I'm going to get all the paper here and put that back in a pile. I just kind of wanted to have all the products out there for you to look at as we get started. So today's class, of course, as I mentioned, it's a product-based class. So you had to pre-order it. And by the time you're doing this video, you'll have your product bundle together and the card kit so that you can create your projects at home. I'm gonna put my scissors here because I noticed the camera keeps kind of focusing, so that'll give it something to focus on. But if there's any additional things that you see used in today's class, which I tried to use pretty much what you've got in your kit, I did add some ribbons and some embellishments, things like that. So you'll have those in your kit. But if there's anything additional that you want to order, this, of course, is my online store, the stampingyoucrazy.stampinup.net. My current hostess code is the JZJ7TN3P. If you go to put this code in and for some reason it has been like closed out, you can always message me at stampmecrazy@sbcglobal.net and I can get you that current host code. Using the monthly host code that I have, that tells me that you would like that month's card kit that I give away. And that would be a 3-card kit for you with a minimum purchase of $35. So by using that host code. Also, if you're here on Facebook, or no, on YouTube, then you found my channel. It's Christina Taylor at Stamp Me Crazy. So if you're not already a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button and please feel free to share my channel. It helps me grow my business and I appreciate that. And if you can like and comment, that also helps with algorithms and does help me grow my business too. And I very much appreciate that. So I'm excited for you to join me for this class. I really, really loved creating these projects and I'm excited to share them with you. So we are going to go ahead and get started and I will take you through what I am using and all the measurements and everything. And yeah, we're just going to jump on in here. So you've got your kit supplies. You're going to make 2 of each project. And on this first one here, went ahead and die cut that. On this first project, we are creating this one here. Okay. And I've used some pretty peacock, the satin ribbon, so pretty with some of the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper and then some of the specialty paper. And then done a little stamping on the inside. So, and then this panel here, after I put that on, I did pop up the panel with some dimensional, so that has some depth to it there. And I will just kind of set this over to the side so you can see it in the screen. We're going to go ahead and create. So the supplies that I'm using on this, of course, I'm using the Thoughtful Journey stamp set and dies. If I introduce something else, I'll mention that when we're doing that particular project. But if you see me using the dies and the stamp set, they are from the dies and stamps that you have in your kit. We're using Pretty Peacock ink on this project. And then our supplies, so we've got our basic white envelope. We've got a piece of Pretty Peacock that is 5.5 by 8.5, and it is scored with our Simply Scored tool at 4 1/4. Then I've got a piece of the specialty paper, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. And this is what would be like the wild wheat color in that kit. And I had the colors. It's like, I'll grab the color selection here because I want to make sure I tell you the right ones. So in the specialty paper, you've got Cajun Craze, Calypso Coral, Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow, Petunia Pop, Pretty Peacock, and Wild Wheat. And they have a like kind of ombre effect. So on this Wild Wheat paper, you can see like this one, I don't know if you can tell in here, but there's a little bit of green here. Let's see, can you see how it's like more wild wheat at the top, but then it kind of ombres into that. So on the wild wheat color, you'll have a little bit to where it will look like Mossy Meadow might come in with a little Pretty Peacock, which is where these two came together, the combination, along with the same colors in that designer series paper. So keep in mind that all those colors are represented in the specialty pack, but they are like an ombre effect. So you might have more coral on one section of the paper, and then you might have Petunia Pop on the other, depending on how you cut it. So, okay, so we've got our specialty paper, then we've got a piece of Pretty Peacock, and that is 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. And then we've got a 3 by 3 piece of designer series paper. And that is, yeah, 3 by 3, so 3 inches square. And the back side of that, oh, this is a cool piece. So it looks like this on one side. So I've taken a section of that on the other. This is the what it looks like on the opposite side. So you of course could do whichever one you want. I mean, if you cut it and you've got a 3 by 3 section down here, this is going to be a lot of the colors of the card, so that would be great. This one has some of the like misty moonlight in there and the blues, and I didn't want that particularly for my project, but you can use whatever side you like. So this is the paper that I grabbed for that one. Okay, and then we've also got a piece of basic white that is 3.5 by 5 for the inside of our card. Okay, now what I'm going to do is bring my little Stampin' trimmer in, and I'm going to cut, I want to cut this in 3 sections because I need 3 1-inch sections. So it'll be 1 inch by 3. So this is a 3-inch piece. So I'm going to go at my 2-inch mark, cut, and then go at the 1-inch mark and cut. So there's my 3 pieces. And I'm going to go ahead and put those on. And I probably should have replaced my little Tombow here, but it's we're already shooting videos. So anyway, it's right before the 4th of July. So when I'm filming this video, and we are going to be, we've got a couple picnics. We're going to be hosting one at our home, and then we've got one to go to. So that will be nice. All kinds of picnic food, yummy things, and fireworks and all the things. Okay, so we've got those layered. We're going to go ahead and fold our cardstock in half. You know, when you score that, I use the Simply Scored tool, and score it, it just folds so nicely. And then just do a flatten the crease with the bone folder. And I'm going to go ahead, and the great thing kind of about this specialty paper, besides it's got the ombre and the beautiful texture to it, but you don't have to choose between a side because it's specialty paper, and I need to get a different one because this one is, let's hope this one's fuller. Yeah, you don't have to choose a side since it's specialty. I've just got the one side, so it doesn't make it like tough decisions. So I'm just going to frame that on the front. And let me grab my, I need a piece of Stampin' paper, which I probably should have grabbed before we started. I'm going to use the Thinking of You Fondly in that floral stamp. So we'll do a little stamping here, just inking that up with the pretty peacock. And stamp it off twice there to get like that first and second generation stamping. And I'm going to do that as well on the envelope. Okay. Let me grab my chamois, clean that off. If you don't have a chamois, these are great little tools to clean your stamps. I really love mine. I still have my Stampin' Scrubs, but I use the chamois a lot. It cleans the stamps very nicely. And then, oh, you know what? And I forgot to say that in with your supplies, you're also going to have a piece of basic white that's 3/4 of an inch by 2.5. I forgot to mention that one. And then you would need a scrap of pretty peacock, which I've gone ahead and die cut that for you. So I did this die cut with the little leaves on it, and it was this die right here. So I've gone ahead and done that. I'm gonna stamp this. Thinking of You Fondly. right. And I think that's it for the stamping. So we're going to go ahead and close that and pad up. And then the thinking of you fondly on my example, what I did was just kind of angle cut it and gave that like a little decorative edge, and I kept this one straight. So that's all I did was just angle cut that with my scissors. I'm gonna bring the Layer Designer Series paper one and grab some dimensionals. We'll put 5 in there so we don't have any like saggy center. Grab those off. Place that more towards the top. And then I'm going to grab my fine tip glue bottle. This is just our fine tip glue, but I've just put it in a smaller bottle that's a little more controlled. The nozzles that, um, let me say that, now let me, wait, the fine tip glue is Stampin' Up. It gets, the applicator gets clogged, and when I use it at classes, it just gets jammed and then it's not so great. So I just prefer to take it out, and you know what? I must have a clog in this one now. Look at that. It's coming out, but it doesn't want to come freely. See if I can get it unclogged. There we go. Just wasn't giving it enough. Anyway, what I was saying was the nozzle with the Stampin' Up one is like so long that it when I use it at class, it gets glue stuck in there and then you can't unclog it. So I like these little bottles that I got them. You can get them on Amazon, and they're easier to work with. So I just take the fine tip glue that we sell with Stampin' Up because it is a lighter, not as thick glue, not as thick as the Tombow glue. And I just squeeze it in those bottles and use it that way. That works better for me. So the adhesive itself is great. I just don't particularly care for the applicator that Stampin' Up offers. So easy fix. So I've got that down in place. And then I want to put a little Tombow adhesive. And I'm just going to set that right here over my flower stem. Go ahead and do a little bit here, and we'll put that inside layer in. I think you're going to find that these cards come together really quickly because everything coordinates so well together. Okay, so we've got the inside there, and then I'm going to take a piece of the Pretty Peacock ribbon and make a bow. So I'm going to bring in my bow maker here, and I think I'd shared with you that my husband makes these. So if you'd like a bow maker, so you've got some little holes that you can make different size bows. You just move the little nails, and it's really handy. So I will I'll take a little tail of the ribbon here and kind of hold it to my right side, bring it around the back, wrap it around. I cross them over each other, and then take that tail that I was holding on the right side and bring it up, over, and under to tie. Then I just tie a knot there. That, tie a knot. I'm going to take out my nails. So just pull those out, set them aside. And then I've got this like adorably cute little ribbon tied in a bow. Let me So then you've got this little guy. How cute is that? I mean, sometimes it's really difficult to tie little tiny ribbons, but the bow makers work wonderfully well. So like I said, my husband makes these. He charges $5. If you need it shipped, it would be 10 because you'd have to pay for the shipping. But if you're local to me in North Canton, he He just said $5. He's the crafter behind that. I cannot take credit for that. So yeah, so I made my little bow there, and then I'll just grab a little bit of my stamp and seal and put that there instead of grabbing a glue dot. And I'm just going to take my little bow and I'm going to send that right into place. And there we go. We've got our first card. Love the color combinations with this one. The designer series paper just does all the work. So, um, okay, let me just set this aside and we'll come back with another one here. Hang on. Put these things out of the way. Okay. All right. All right, so our next project is this beautiful card here. Simple with panels. Now you'll notice we're doing panels on this one, but a completely different way. You know, they're a little slimmer and longer. And we've used that specialty paper, which is Lost Lagoon. There you go. You can get the shimmer on it. There's Lost Lagoon. And we're using the basic beige as well. We're using that as our neutral instead of like a vanilla or a white. We've used the beige. It is a beautiful neutral color. So I'll set that over here and then share with you the supplies that we're using. Of course, the stamp set is the Thoughtful, yeah, here we go. The Thoughtful Wishes die set. And then of course the stamp set as well. So back in with that, so raising that again. And the supplies, so you've got your basic white envelope. We've got a piece of Lost Lagoon that is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4.25. Piece of basic beige, and that is 4 by 5.25. Another piece of basic beige that is 2.75 by 4.25. And I need my designer series paper. We've got a piece of designer series paper that I'm going to cut here, but we're using the one that's Lost Lagoon. So you'll have a piece of that. You're going to cut that off. And then you're going to need some extra Lost Lagoon, but I've already die cut these for you. And with those extra Lost Lagoons, you're going to cut this branch of the dies and then these two little leaves. And then you want to cut two basic beige little flowers, little stems. Okay, so we've got those all die cut. Then we've got this is our basic beige. It's a bordered ribbon and it looks like this. I'll get a little closer to the camera there so you can pick up the texture on that. There you go. And my nails need done, so don't look too closely at them. There, I broke this one off and yeah, so I need to change the color and get them spiffied up for the 4th of July holiday. But you need a piece of the basic beige ribbon, and this is like a 4-inch piece, I would say. And then a 1/2 inch by 2.75 piece of basic beige as well. So that's everything. That's all of our pieces there. On this one, we are going to use the Dearest Friend. We're also going to use this large image from the stamp set. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's all we were doing on that one. Okay. Oh, your piece of designer series paper. So you want, it's going to be a 4-inch block by, that's not right. I'm looking at that. It's 4. Oh, there's 3. Okay. I'm looking at my note and I'm like, what am I saying? They only want 3/4 inch. So they need to be 3/4 of an inch, but 4 inches long. So let me bring in my cutter here and we'll just do that because I don't think I already cut that one. Let me look. No, I did not. Can you tell I just got 11 things going on? Okay. So I want to go 4 inches, which I was thinking I cut this, but I don't see it anywhere. So we're going to cut another 4 inches. Okay. So you'll have a chunk left over if you cut them in 4-inch sections, and then they need to be 3/4 of an inch each. So this one, cut it. Trying to, I maybe should line it up. You know what? I'm gonna get my slide cutter because I need it to be make sure it's level. So I feel more confident about using this one. So I'm gonna go to the 3/4 inch mark and the 3/4 inch mark. So I'm gonna do 3 of these. I'm gonna keep them in order so they'll match up. Another one. Okay. There we go. All right, so we've got our, you need three strips that are 3/4 of an inch by 4. All right, so we'll go ahead and put those on our basic beige, kind of like we did with that first one with the regular designer series paper. And I always like to do each side and then I put the center one in so I can kind of split the difference. That's what works for me. You do what works best for you. It just helps me with the spacing to be easier. Okay, so we've got our 3 designer pieces of designer paper on there. We also have this popped up with the dimensionals. So I'll go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back. So that way it's ready to go when we're ready to fasten it down. So this is popped up with some dimensionals. We're just going to set that aside. Open our ink here and we'll do a little stamping. Our code base that we're going to fold in half and flatten that the button folder. Come back in with my stamping paper. Go. And we'll do a little stamping with this kind of greenery piece. Even though it's not greenery, we're stamping it with Lost Lagoon. But I'm gonna stamp it there and I'll stamp a little bit down there to get like a second and generation so you get a little bit lighter. And we'll do some on the envelope here. And I think I'll just do the one on the envelope. I'm not gonna double stamp that one. You can do as you'd like. Okay, then I wanna do a little stamping on my card front. And I don't want it to be so like, let me show you here. See how that's just in the background is like a tone on tone. I want it to be a little softer. So I think what I want to do is I want to ink it up. I'm going to stamp it off and then stamp it. So it's a little softer. I don't want it to take away from the focal point of our card, the center part, but I wanted to create a subtle background to pull that all together. So by stamping it off, it accomplishes that look. It's there, but it's not too much. I think that's good. I don't want to do too much. Just trying to create a subtle background. You'll notice I kind of just did it around the outside. And then our little strip here, we're going to stamp Dearest Friend on it. Hopefully I kind of get that where I need to. Good, good, good. It was a little like, I couldn't really see that one. Sometimes when I'm putting the paper on the stamping paper, it's like, that's kind of all blending together. Okay, we're done stamping. So we're gonna set that aside or close the ink pad. And then we're ready to assemble. So we'll put this inside layer in our card. The basic beige with it's just such a soft color. Just really, I really like the way it is. It works with as for being a neutral to be able to use that on my projects. So I want to put my piece of ribbon around the front. I'm just going to wrap it around and fasten it on the back side. And I'm just going to use some tape, some Scotch tape. Just grabbing a couple pieces from my dispenser there. And let me kind of put this one in place and then I'll fasten the other. This is, you can do whatever works best for you, but I just fastened the one in place and then I'm going to flip this other one around and fasten that down with a piece of Scotch tape. Excuse me. Okay. Then we'll get those dimensional backs off. And go ahead and put that on the front of our card. And we're just going to center that. All right, and now we're going to kind of build our layers with our little die cut pieces. And this one's got, I'm just going to put some little of the Tombow glue on this in just some key spots. Taking that, and I'm going to tuck this behind ribbon. Just setting that in place. Then I've got these two little blossoms and just put a little adhesive right on. Just actually doing it on the little leaf part of the flower so that that top portion kind of stays popped up. It gives it a little dimension there. There's a little bit of, you can see that it's not attached. I personally like that, but if you would like to hold it all down, go right ahead. And I'm just tucking this kind of behind the ribbon a little bit. Okay. And then I've got these two pieces. Just trying to see how I want to do those with my label. Oh, with my words on it, the little tab there. So we'll put this one down. And this one. Okay, and then we've got our dearest friend. I'm going to do that same thing where I did like an angle cut on the end. That way you're not having to use any dies. You're just going to use, I want to do, I'm just going to cut just a little bit off of the front end. Which again, you can just do that with your scissors. And so I want to layer that just a little bit below my ribbon, but not completely covering it. So I want a little bit of that showing out the top. And then I've taken, what did I do with what did I do with the gems here? Okay. I had some gems. They are. All right, so I've got some colored gems. I was like, I don't know what to do with them. Now these were, I think these have sold out, so they're currently not available. However, you can, tell me, did I, oh, I just did a couple, it looks like. I'm just gonna use the ones that are Lost Lagoon color. And pop those into place here. I think I'm actually going to put another one there, just a little bit more. Um, well, if I can get it to come off the take your pick tool, it is really stuck. It was stuck on that. It was stuck in the sticky tack that's on there. Oh goodness. Anyway, if you don't have these shades of blue, the color gems, you can take your Stampin' Blends and color your basic rhinestones any color that you'd like. I just had these, so I figured they're going to work with our kit. We're going to go ahead and use those, but you can accomplish that same look with your Stampin' Blends. Okay, and there is our second project. So we've got our envelope, we've got our card inside of it, the basic beige, so pretty. All right. Okay. All right, let me put that one out of the way. Grab these things. And begin with our next card. All right, so on this card, I've added a couple extra things. So we're using the exposed brick 3D folder. Of course, we're using our Thoughtful Wishes stamp set. Then we're using Petunia Pop for an ink color. We're using Mossy Meadow, and then we're using the white craft pad. We're also using a blender pen. And okay. So for your supplies, you've got your basic white envelope. We've got a piece of basic white cardstock. This is the thick cardstock. You notice it's a little heavier. And it is cut 5.5 by 8.5. It is scored at 4.25. Let's go ahead and fold that so we can get that guy ready to go. Okay. Then as far as the designer series paper, this is the one you're going to use. It's going to look like this on the front, this on the back. All right. So that's the piece that we're using. We're going to cut that down. You need a piece of scrap basic white. You need a piece of Petunia Pop that is, this is 3 1/4 by 4.5. Okay. Then you've got a piece of basic white that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay. And I have already gone and embossed that. You can see with the exposed brick 3D folder. So you'll have that texture on there. That has, I've already gone ahead and done that. Then you've got a piece of white that is 1 inch by 2 inches. That's for your sentiment. I've gone ahead and die cut out of Mossy Meadow cardstock, one of the larger dies. Where's that at? The detail die, we use this one. Now on the last card, we use this die, we use this one, and we use these 2 leaves. There's 2 leaves right there, one under another right there. So we used all 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 of those dies. So this one, we're using this die, and we're also using this die. This card. So we've got that. Great. So, oh, let me show you the card we're making. So this is the card we're making. Got some beautiful layers with some stamping, some blending, and a few little pearls on there. Okay. So let me set this aside. We are going to do this stamp. We're going to use this one. And we're going to use the You Make Life Better. So all 3 of these, right? And then this designer series paper. So again, we're using this one, but I need to cut it down. So I need to cut this into a 3 inches by 4 1/4. So what I'm going to do is take my paper cutter, which here it is, bring that around. And we want it to be 4 1/4 by 3. So I'm gonna go 4 1/4. Have this piece left over. And I'm gonna go 3. So on my example, I use this side with the two little um, pine trees. So on my um, the one I'm making now, I'm gonna just use it with the one. Boy, goodness, that's easy. I can talk. So I'm gonna go 3 inches. So I'm flipping it over so I can use this. I actually could have cut it that way because it's 3 inches and this is a 6 by 6 piece. So either way, they're both the same size. Oh, Christina. All right, so I'm gonna set that one aside and do it on this one, but you're gonna make 2 of these, so you'll actually you're gonna do one of each. Now that I'm thinking about it, you're going to need one of each. So we'll just use this one, an example. And I think that's it. So we're ready to do some stamping. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do with the stamping is I'm going to use my white craft pad. And the camera's probably not going to pick this up really well because it just probably isn't because of the white crafting. But what I'm doing is, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see it on the camera. Well, maybe. See, can you see those white flowers right there? So it's just giving a very soft shadow of white flowers. It's so hard to pick it up on there, but you can kind of see it at that angle. So I just stamped some of the white flowers in the background on this paper to just kind of add extra interest to it. Now, like you can see it right there against the tree. And I just put it on my finger because the white craft pad stays a little wetter longer. So that's why I was like, let's stamp this. I'll let it set aside to dry. So I just stamped a couple white flowers on there. That's all we're doing with that. And we'll set that aside to dry a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and clean off the white stamp or the ink off of that stamp. And then come in and do some more stamping. So I've got my petunia pop. We'll do that one next. So I want to ink that up. And I'm going to stamp that. Actually, let me do it this way. I'm going to stamp that. Let that sit there. And then right after I stamp it, I'm going to take my blender pen. And then I'm going to just take my blender pen and blend that stamped image and pull some of the color. And you'll be able to see this once I'm actually done with it. I'll show you how it turns out. So I'm just taking the blender pen over these areas that I've stamped. And what it's doing is softening the lines and just giving like a faint petunia color. That's what the blending pen does. If you do that like right after you stamp, you've got time to kind of play with it. See how it gave it a little bit of pink there on the leaves? Boy, really get that off my finger. Clean it on my chamois. So it just adds a little bit of color to those leaves, gives it some texture. So I've gone ahead and done that, or went ahead and done that, and then I went ahead and die cut it out. So here's one already die cut, and you can see the softness on those leaves. So that's how you accomplish that with the blender pen. And I think I want to stamp these. I didn't stamp anything on the envelope inside envelope, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a little something there. So we'll do some petunia pop and stamp that because I love that second generation stamping with the light and the dark. And I'll do that in the envelope too. So pretty. Okay. Then I want to stamp my greeting. And we're going to do that in the mossy meadow. So I'll go ahead and close up the Petunia Pop. That's one of our in colors this year. Super pretty. I still have my in color club going on for several more months. If you have interest in that and want to get all the in colors, talk to me about that. It's a great way to get your in color products. You get the ink pad, the ink refill, the marker, the specialty glimmer paper, the designer series paper, the shimmer embellishments, the resin embellishments. You get a sampling of the basic beige cardstock and ribbon as well. So I think I've named everything. It's a great bundle, and it's a great way to get those products um, on a budget, so you don't have to buy everything one time. So feel free to message me about that if you have interest. Okay. All right. I think we've got all of our stamping done. Okay. Yes. So I'm going to move that out of the way. And we're going to do that same thing that we've done on the other cards with this one. We're going to do an angled cut. Okay, let me get that out of the way. And bring our pieces in here. Okay, so on this piece of Petunia cardstock, I want to break this down. Like you could use it fine just like this, but you'll notice on my example, it's got some texture to it. There's some wave there to it. So what I did was took my bone folder and went around the cardstock, and I'm breaking down the fibers. So I'm just taking my bone folder underneath, putting my thumb there, and breaking those fibers down. Then I'm flipping it over and going to repeat that same process on the other side. Just continue to break those fibers down. And you can just kind of do it so you're happy with the results. Did you see what I just did? Oh my gosh. Oh goodness. Okay. So you don't want to do that. I kind of broke the fibers down just a wee bit more, but that's actually pretty funny. But you know what? We're gonna make it work. So just bear with me. Okay, I think we've broken the fibers down enough. It's pretty pliable, obviously, because I ripped the corner off. It's okay though. We're gonna roll with it. All right, so I want to, where's my glue? I need to glue on this. Oh my goodness, that was funny. Like I couldn't have actually planned that any better. That's kind of funny. Um, I'm gonna glue on our embossed piece, and it's just got a very thin layer, like a 16th of an inch, maybe. It's thin, it's slim. It's a really slim layer to kind of get that textured piece on there. Okay, then we've got to glue in our special one. So let me think about this because we're going to place it in a way that we're going to put then our designer series paper over it, and you're not going to even you are not going to be able to tell. Well, that's what I'm going to go with anyway. So I think I'm going to put it down here in this bottom corner, and I want. Okay, so I want to place it. I think at an angle this way. Right. We're going to make this work. It's going to be good. Okay. So I'm gonna place it kind of like this. Okay. I actually, that's kind of hysterical that that happened. See, now you're just like, you know what? There's no, it's not a problem. It's just a happy accident that we're gonna correct. And you know what? It just kind of goes along with the tattered look of our cardstock. So this is why your piece of cardstock, you will have to tatter it yourself because then you can kind of make it work best for you. All right, so then I've got my piece of DSP and we're not gonna tatter this, but oh, that's gonna, okay, it's gonna work because I'm gonna straighten this out and you can't really see that. It's gonna be good. Good, good. This side's so pretty though too. You could really use either side. So that's hysterical. I'm cracking myself up today. I must just be tired. Because you're if you're watching this, you're like, you know what, Christina, that really wasn't that funny. It kind of was. All right, so then I need to put this on here, but this is like way more than I want to put. I don't want the full thing. If you want it, you have at it. You can kind of like do that yourself. I'm gonna cut half of it off though. And so I just need to figure out where I want to cut it off. And I think I want to do like right there. Great. So I'm gonna put this here. Look, and it's gonna cover that little torn end. You're not even gonna be able to see it. Oh, this is amazing. I love it. I love that there are other opportunities to be creative. So we figured it out together. Okay, great. So we're gonna put this right here. Right. And then we're gonna come in with our stamped piece that we blended. And see. Yeah, I'm gonna do it just like that. And then I'm gonna put my reading piece on there. It's coming together. Here we go. All right, then we need some pearls. And again, these pearls were already colored. Um, and they match the petunia pops so nicely that I just grabbed them. But you can take your blends, color your pearls, you know, and make whatever color you want. I need to get sticky tack stuff into like we'll put it right there. So we'll do three. I can only put two on the example, but we will do three. Okay. And there we go. There's our card, our third card. So pretty. Okay. So let me put these guys put away. And then we'll grab another project here. Let me put this one up here. So I've got them all here at the end when we're done. And then we're going to come back in with another project. Okay. All right. Got fibers everywhere, all the things. Okay. So on this project, I did bring a few more elements in. So we've got the Cajun Craze ink pad, the color that we're using. We're using the Unbounded Love dies. So you've got these great different frames, die cut shapes and frames. We are using these two. So I pulled those out. So these will be in your kit for you because this wasn't part of the product-based class. These labels will be die cut in your kit. And then I also have grabbed the 2023-25 in color jute trim. And this is the copper key, copper clay, I think. Whoa. Anyway, we're using Cajun Craze here, but I found this to be very complimentary. It's just slightly lighter, but it works. So we're using the jute trim in that. And then we've got the champagne iridescent dots. And so these little guys, they're so pretty. So, so pretty. And they complement the card really well, I think. Here is the card that we're making. Isn't that beautiful? Like, I mean, I loved all the cards, but yeah, so pretty. These papers are just beautiful. So let me kind of share with you what we're doing on this one. Okay. So the supplies you have a basic white envelope. You've got a piece of, well, This was 5.5 by 8.5. Okay. But I cut an inch off. All right. So it's 5.5 by 7.5, and it is scored at 4.25. So that will leave you with 3.25, another flap there. So 5.5 by 7.5, scored at 4.25. You've got a piece of basic white that is 3 by 5.25. And then we've got this piece of designer series paper. Now this is the one we're using. So you want it, that's the one we're using out of your packet. All right, I'm going to show you how to cut that. Now the 1-inch strip that I cut off of this card, I then was able to die cut the label that I needed. So I used this larger label and die cut that out. And you end up with another scrap. So you'll have that. Or I might have cut the other one out of that. Probably actually did. So you've got your label piece there. And then as far as the jute twine, I think I didn't actually measure it. I don't know. Let me say it's about an 11-inch piece. So, okay. All right, let's do some cutting. Let me show you the measurements here that we cut this piece so you can understand that. So we need a piece that's going to go across the top. So it is going to be 5.25. So we're going to go right here, 5.25. Right? Cut that. Okay, so we've got this little strip there left over. Then I'm going to turn it, and I need it to be 3 inches. So I'm going to cut that at 3. That's going to give me the top piece of my card. And then I need a piece at 1 inch, or, you know, like 5.25 by 1 inch. So I'm going to drop this just over to the 1-inch mark and cut it out. So I've got my other piece. This is just a scrap that we're going to actually do a die cut out of. All right. We've got our designer pieces there. We're going to take and fold that on the score line. And that. So we're going to go ahead and put some of this together. It's going to come together pretty quickly. So we're going to put that designer series paper on the front. Just put a little bit of a frame around it. I mean, isn't that stunning? This is like such a beautiful card. I just loved it. It's still like it's so pretty, especially for fall. I don't know. I think it's beautiful. So we cut this 1-inch strip off. It was the right from the bottom here. We're just going to drop that down and put that on our band at the bottom. Okay. So I'm going to lift that up and just kind of give it a little bit like a 1/8 of an inch frame around the base there. Okay, so our card is already coming together. We're going to do a little die cutting, a little stamping here. So I'll set that aside. Cajun Craze. And we're going to come back in with this stamp that we pulled a lot of. We're also going to come in with this little speckled stamp that is in your stamp set. And then we're going to make this a thank you card. So I've got the little thanks here. Okay, so I need this label for my card. I'm going to cut that out of the designer series paper so that it blends with my card. So I didn't go ahead and do that. So I'm going to run this through the die cut and come back and we will, and I will stamp that. So hang on just a second. Well, I'm going to keep the camera going. I'm just going to run over to my die cutting machine to do that. Okay, super easy. Sorry about that little intermission. Maybe you got a drink and, you know, maybe a little piece of chocolate, something good. All right, so we've got this die cut piece. I took it right out of the designer series paper. It's going to complement our card so well. And it's a great way to utilize your supplies. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that with a thanks. Okay, so I've got that stamped. Let me clean off this one. Okay, set that aside. And then I'm going to take my little label here, bring back in my stamping sheet that's all messy with all the other good stuff. And I want to use, and like we did on the Lost Lagoon one where we stamped off and then stamped, I'm doing that to create some little dots. So creating some texture on this stamp. You see, there. So you've got some little speckles there. Just create some texture on there. Give it just a little bit more element of interest. And then on the inside one, I'm going to use this stamp. And I'll stamp that full strength. We'll do that on the envelope too. There we go. Okay, I'm putting that off. And then I'm going to stamp some little dots on this. And I'm going to stamp it off so they're a little lighter. Just to kind of bring that, this is what we did on the label on the inside of our card. Okay, sorry, my camera froze a little bit there. I was getting a call, so I apologize. Let me see. I'm not sure where it froze what I was doing. So um, I stamped and stamped off on the envelope, did that on their inside piece. Then I did the little textured dots, stamped those, stamped off, and added some nice textured little dots there that will match our label. And I think that's maybe everything you might have missed. I saw the screen freeze up, so I don't exactly know when it froze, but hopefully I've caught that up there. Sorry about that. I was having trouble when I started recording tonight, and it was echoing so badly, like I was getting a back echo. And so that took me a little while to figure that out. So I'm hoping that this video records fine. It was really raining earlier, so that was a concern with the internet connection. So I've just put some adhesive on that layer for the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and put that inside my card. So we've got a nice writing area there. And then we're gonna put our label on. And now I'm just wanting to put glue on half of this because it's going to hang down over my card. So I don't want to put adhesive on the whole thing. So set that there. Yep, there we go. Okay, and then put some adhesive on my thanks. I loved how this all came together. So pretty. I mean, I really like it. So I took a piece of my twine, my jute twine, but to me, this was too, oh my gosh, I've got that stuck to me. This was too strong of a fiber. I didn't want it that thick. I wanted a softness to the project. So I took the twine and twisted it in my fingers like so. So I'm going to try to do some more while I've got it on here. And then the fibers pull apart. So you end up getting 3 pieces of twine if you unravel the jute. And so you end up with this piece, which I liked for my bow much better. It was just softer. That worked for me. So let me, I'm getting glue all over myself. So I'm going to bring back in my bow maker. This aside. I'm gonna bring this back in. Now I am going to do a double bow. So look here at this. See how I've got 2 loops on there and then just 1 set of ties. So it gives it a little bit more substance. It's a little, it's got the double loops there. So how I did that was I held my little tie on the right side, okay, with my right hand. brought it around the back and around, and then I took it all the way around again, right? Crossed them, okay? And then go under, bring it over, and tie. All right, so got that tied tight there in a knot. Take out my nails. Now, I like the little bows. That's why I use this like, but you can make much wider bows. You can use this for all different sizes. I just wanted the little ones for this particular one. So I've got my little loops there. And now I can cut these little ties down there. And I've got my double looped bow. And then I'm going to take and put a little adhesive. I'll just use my stamp and seal. And go. And put that just right there. So cute. So cute. Okay. So I've got my bow on. Now I want to add some of these champagne iridescent dots. These are a great deal. I think they're like $7. I don't know. You get like a gazillion in there. Not really a gazillion. Oh, it says there's 600. That's a lot. So I'm going to take some mini glue dots and just put them. These are from Paper Pumpkin Kit. So you get like a ton of them always in your Paper Pumpkin Kit. I never seem to use them all. So I've got a ton of those. So then I'm going to take these gems. Now these will be loose in your kit. So watch for them. Let me snag one. Take off the little paper tabs of my glue dots. Now, if you have the glue dots that are on our regular like dispenser, the little box, just use those, obviously. So you just want to put down 3 glue dots. It's a little tiny, too tiny. And I'm using my take your pick tool to get these out because there's so many in here. I want to use like a smaller size. So this allows you to kind of pick them. And so I'm just going to put 3 of those on there. They go so beautifully with the colors on here. So pretty. And there's our 4th card. All right, so let me get these things out of the way. Let me clean up all my card out of the way. All right, so come back in with the projects. So we've got this one. And this was our 3rd card. Grab this one. We've got our 4th card. This one here. Or our 3rd, our 4th, our 3rd, our 2nd, and this was our 1st card. Boy, I need to go to bed. It's been a long day. Okay, so these are all the projects that we're doing in the Thoughtful Journey class. I am so glad that you decided to join me for this product-based class. I hope you enjoyed the projects. Oh, I do have some bonus ones to share with you. So I used this piece of designer series paper. You'll have that on the back, okay? And I cut that into, oh, this one, I didn't finish this one yet because I wasn't sure what kind of card I was gonna make it for. So I didn't stamp a greeting with it yet. But I ended up creating these 3 cards just using some pool party cardstock. And what I did was cut it at 5 inches. So I cut the designer series paper at 5 inches. And I think I did it this way. Yes, so I did 5 over so that I had a 1-inch strip here. So you cut it at 5 all the way down. You get a 1-inch strip that's 6 inches long. And then after I cut that, then I cut this in 2 3-inch sections. So that gives me the upper, the lower, and then I've got my side strips. So you can kind of see the pieces there. And maybe I should set it like this so you can understand it better because then it's the same pattern. So anyway, this is a great way that you can take these beautiful pieces of DSP, cut it in 3 sections, and get 3 quick cards. I stamped a greeting, just thinking of you. And that is actually from a new set. This new set that's called Everyday Greetings. It's part of the online exclusives that are coming out. So I took the thinking of you and then I put in there where there is heartache, let there be healing. So super, super beautiful stamp set. And then I just made 3 quick cards and put some iridescent gems on there just to add a little extra bling. So that's kind of just a bonus idea, something you can do with this paper. It's so beautiful that it really does a lot of the work. Just create it, just cut it and put a stamp on it. Do a little embossing, maybe layer it with your cardstock. You're good to go. So, but thank you for joining me for this class. I hope that I have inspired your creativity. I hope that you found this class worth your time and that you are just as excited about this bundle of products as I am. So until next time, I just want you to take your products and create and make some cards, create your paper sunshine, and send those cards along to brighten somebody's day because it really, really does make a difference for people that receive your cards. And it gives you a certain amount of joy as you are creating them for others. So thank you for allowing me to share with you today. And I appreciate your time so much. So until next time, happy stamping.